A man made a stunning discovery in the desolate canyon. Across the vast expanse, a beautiful woman stood, her perfect figure commanding attention despite the great distance between them. He wanted to admire her beauty for a moment longer, but she seemed to sense his presence. She quickly stopped what she was doing and turned to face his direction. Her face was absolutely gorgeous, yet Jack instinctively averted his gaze. Someone had once warned him not to get involved with anything happening on the other side, let alone attempt to communicate with anyone there. Jack was the new guardian of a watchtower perched on the edge of the canyon. Strangely, even though there wasn't a soul to be seen for miles around, an array of weapons and equipment was set up next to the tower. Automatic machine gun turrets were positioned every 600 meters, satellite receivers for external communication every 1,000 meters, and giant floating mines every 10 meters within the canyon. It seemed like a display of force, but also a defense against something unknown. The previous guardian had told him that the job was simple, like being a highly skilled maintenance worker. Each day, he would check the equipment and replenish ammunition. If he could tough it out for a year, the next guardian would arrive to relieve him. Jack was perplexed. His superiors had emphasized the critical importance of this mission before his arrival. He had even been sedated and airdropped directly into the canyon. Yet he had no idea what the objective of the mission was. Was it to prevent someone from entering the canyon? The previous guardian had cryptically warned him that it was to stop the monsters inside the canyon from escaping. This only deepened Jack's confusion. What monsters could possibly inhabit this vast, empty canyon? On the second day, Nick, the previous guardian who had completed his term, was informed by his superiors that he could return home. After trekking several dozen kilometers, he reached a mountaintop, threw a smoke grenade, and called for his comrades to come to his aid. Meanwhile, Jack began his new daily routine, patrolling the area and inspecting the equipment. It seemed that the previous guardian had been right. This was an incredibly simple maintenance job, even more mundane than he had imagined. After 30 days on the job, Jack reported his progress to the military as required. This was only the second voice he had heard since arriving in the canyon. Curiosity got the better of him, and he couldn't help but ask a question. However, the person on the other end hung up without answering, seemingly intent on keeping something hidden. Out of boredom, Jack recalled Nick's warning not to attempt to spy on the watchtower across the way. But the more he was told not to, the more intrigued Jack became. He couldn't resist using his binoculars to peer across the canyon. To his surprise, there didn't seem to be anything particularly different about the other side. The only distinction was that the guardian of the watchtower opposite him was a beautiful woman who seemed equally curious about his situation. Even more surprising, this woman took the initiative to contact him. Lisa was clever. She used gunshots to attract Jack's attention. When he came outside and looked across with his binoculars, Lisa wrote what she wanted to say on a notebook. Due to the vast distance separating them, this was their only means of communication. Lisa's first question was to ask Jack's name. Moments later, Jack replied using the same method. However, he remembered Nick's warning and wrote on his board, refusing to answer the question. He thought this would put an end to their chat, but to his surprise, Lisa quickly responded again.